All right, everybody, welcome back to the #1 television program in the history of the entire universe. I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon, The Blackest Heart, and The Lonesome Crown. All three books published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. Today I am going to be reviewing Small Mercies by Dennis Lehane. Now, if you've followed my channel for any length of time, you know Dennis Lehane is in my top 5 favorite authors of all time. And this is his newest book. It just came out about a week ago. I bought it the day it came out, read it on my airplane flight to Hollywood, California, from Salt Lake to Hollywood and back. Anyway, so this was the book I took with me on my little wee mini vacation. Anyway, let's talk about the cover itself, because you know I love graphic design and cover illustration. I like this one quite a bit. We've got the it's just a wonderful use of font and lettering. Kind of bleeds off the page on the top and the bottom. It's got the blue and the yellow, and then inside here we've got the old-time photo of the civil unrest in the Boston's, southern portion of Boston's, whatever bad part of the town, I guess. The only thing I don't like about this cover is I bought this book at Barnes & Noble, and it came with this sticker on it, which cannot be removed. The sticker cannot be removed. I tried to peel it, and I just was going to leave a gummy mess. It's just a disaster. Borders used to put stickers on all of their books, and they went out of business. That's all I'm saying. And they deserved to go out of business for that kind of bull. Anyway, now that my mini rant is over, this did not diminish my love of this book at all. Just the sticker. We'll just live with the sticker for the rest of time and all eternity. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. My OCD will be able to take it. I swear I can handle it. I will. The anger will go away eventually, I am telling you. So, I have met Dennis Lehane. In fact, he has signed. I've got every Dennis Lehane book over here in my book collection. There they all are, right there. All of them signed by the man himself. I also took all of the DVDs of all the movies that were made out of his books, and I had him sign the DVDs too. But anyway, I love showing off my signed book collection, so there you go. That's one of the examples. I'm not going to open up every book over there and show you the signature. Trust me, they're there. Anyway, so this book, I swear to you, this is one of the best books I've read in the last 10 years. And I'm not joking, folks. This book is seriously dope. This book is Mystic River is it's my favorite mystery novel of all time. And I'm telling you, this book came close to dethroning Mystic River out of the #1 spot. It did. I am just going to read the little historical note in the front of this book to set the stage for the rest of the book review. So this book takes place in 1974. So on June 21st, 1974, U.S. District Court Judge W. Arthur Garrity Jr. ruled in Morgan v. Hennigan that the Boston School Committee had systematically disadvantaged black school children in the public school system. The only remedy, the judge concluded, was to begin housing students between predominantly white and predominantly black neighborhoods to desegregate the city's public high schools. The school in the neighborhood with the largest African American population was Roxbury High School. The school in the neighborhood with the largest white population was South Boston High School. It was decided that these two schools would switch a significant portion of their student bodies. This order was to take effect at the beginning of the school year on September 12, 1974. Students and parents had less than 90 days from that date of the ruling to prepare. It was very hot in Boston that summer, and it seldom rained. So this book is about that subject of the racial divide that was going on in Boston in the 70s and how they tried to integrate all the schools, and neither the black community or the South Boston Irish white community wanted to have anything to do with that. They just thought they were being picked on. And then we've got a delicious murder mystery set amongst this civil unrest, and it is absolutely wonderful. It starts with Mary Pat Hennessy. Fennessy. Oh, what is her name? Mary Pat Fennessy. I knew it was Fennessy or Hennessy. Anyway, she's Irish. She lives in the Irish projects of South Boston. She's a single mom. Struggling, no gas, no electric. It's hot summer. They don't got air conditioning. They barely have food to eat. She has a daughter named Jules. She spends her time at her job, and she does a good job, but she doesn't make a lot of money. She has several jobs. She passes out. So they're getting ready. The whole neighborhood is getting ready for this integration of the black students into their white neighborhood. And she is passing out pamphlets for the protests that are coming up. And she's kind of passing out these pamphlets at the behest of the Irish mob. And she just does it because that's what you do when you live in that neighborhood. Jules, her daughter, is a teenager. Contentious relationship, but also a very loving relationship between Mary Pat and Jules. They're always at each other's throats. And we get this right from the start of the book. We see this very contentious and yet loving relationship play out between mother and daughter as they try to live in this very bleak neighborhood filled with Irish mobsters and very poor working class people. Now, Jules, the teenage girl, has a loser boyfriend. And of course, Mary Pat does not like him. Jules also her best friend Brenda is also kind of a loser. Jules sort of runs with the loser crowd. But then again, Mary Pat also realizes that most everybody in their neighborhood is part of the loser crowd. Now, Lehane, I'm going to be mentioning a lot of different characters' names in this, and you don't need to necessarily pay attention to all of it, but as you're reading the book, there's a lot of characters in this novel that's about 300 pages long, but you need to pay attention to every single character that's brought up and what they have to say, because Dennis Lehane uses an economy of words to say and paint broad brushstrokes of plot and dialogue and characterization, and it all just is put together so seamlessly and so effortlessly. It's almost, Dennis Lehane is the Michael Jordan of urban noir fiction writing and mystery novels and writing in general. Like I said, one of my top 5 favorite authors of all time, like Stephen King, Larry McMurtry, Dennis Lehane, Tad Williams, forgot who the 5th one was. But anyway, you get the point. The guy can write a book, and he writes a mean book here, a grim, gritty story set in the grim and grittiest parts of Boston. Now, Mary Pat, she likes to hang out at the local pub with the other degenerates of the neighborhood. She's very confused about this desegregation thing. She's confused about why the ghetto kids from the black neighborhood are being integrated with the ghetto kids of the white neighborhood, and the ghetto kids of the white neighborhood are being integrated with the ghetto kids of the black neighborhood. She's like, why is this happening in the poorer neighborhoods? Why are the ghetto kids of the black neighborhood not being integrated with the very rich high schools of Boston? Like where the really rich people send their kids to the high school. Well, those guys don't have to integrate. And this is causing a lot of strife and stress for every single character in this book, because they just want things to be fair. They understand. They don't think they're racist. No character in here really thinks they're racist, even though just about every single thing that comes out of their mouth is racist. But I think we know people like that, and especially back then when things were way less politically correct. people just said things. And so if you're going to read this book, understand that the N-word is used a lot in this book. And a lot of racial slurs and racial slurish descriptions of other types of races are used a lot in this book by characters who are using them, and they don't necessarily think that they're saying anything bad at the time. Well, some of them are straight racist. But anyway, so Mary Pat hangs out in her local pub. She's got the Irish mobster. She's handing out pamphlets. One day, Jules, her daughter, doesn't come home from a late night party. Now, Mary Pat doesn't think a whole lot about this because Jules sometimes goes missing for a few days. But anyway, Jules just stays missing. And now we've got this missing person thing. At the same time as Jules goes missing, Dreamy Williamson, who is a black lady, and she is Mary Pat's co-worker, her son is found dead on the train tracks. He's been hit by a train. And do these two events have anything to do with each other? Now, Mary Pat sort of, gets the help of the Irish mob and the Irish bad guys in the neighborhood. One guy, Brian Shea, he insists on helping Mary Pat find Jules. And at that point, it's when things seriously get complicated and the plot thickens, because not everything is as it seems. Not everybody is on the up and up, and Mary Pat becomes sort of this Liam Neeson type character in the movie Taken, where her daughter has gone missing and she is on a quest of revenge, which is probably one of the coolest, just down-to-earth, gritty, realistic types of revenge quests that you're ever going to read in a book. And I hope they make a movie of this that's as good as Mystic River and Gone Baby Gone and all the other, and Shutter Island and all the other great films that have been made out of Dennis Lehane novels. This is like, Dennis Lehane was one of the script writers for The Wire. And this reads just like you're watching The Wire. And Mary Pat, our main character, sort of our Liam Neeson, lady out seeking revenge character, discovers along the way some of the themes of the book, I think, is that, she discovers that for some people, it's just the neighborhood they live in is all that they have. It's their tribe. They don't even care to even leave that neighborhood. Some of the people living in these South Boston neighborhoods just had never stepped foot out of that neighborhood in their entire life. They hadn't been outside of Massachusetts, let alone any other state in the country or other. And that is why this integration is so difficult. And then towards the end of the book, and what I've described so far plot-wise just happens within the first 30 some odd pages. So I haven't spoiled anything. And it's all described right here on the jacket anyway. So can Mary Pat defeat this Irish mob and these bad people in her neighborhood? Can she compete with the gangsters and beat them at their own game? The drug lords, the small-time criminals, the Irish mobster gangsters. Can she beat them at their own game? And this is kind of why I liken it to the Liam Neeson Taken movies, is because she is on a seriously badass quest. And I'm telling you, this is not over-the-top action. This is what it would be realistically like if a desperate woman looking for her daughter was out trying to find that daughter amongst low-life drug dealers, con artists, street gangsters, Irish mobsters, all while riots are taking place in Boston because of this. They're going to start busing people from school to school, and the riots start, and all this is going down. It's just an absolute symphony of plot, characterization, dialogue, and grim, dark city, Boston, South Boston, just, storytelling, as Dennis Lehane does so brilliantly. 10 out of 10 for Small Mercies. That's all I got to say about it.